smelling, inspecting like it's brand new. There we go, Midnight. Good job. Yeah, there we go. And the climb, the stretch, and we're on top. You want healthy, happy goats. You want to give them stuff to climb on and play on. You know, we have stumps, we have a little ramp here, and we have this little A-frame, and then underneath, you know, I'll show you how we built it later, but there's also a place that they can go and hide under the shade. So stay tuned. I'm going to show you how we built this with mostly scrap pieces of wood. All we had to do was buy some 3/4 inch plywood and some decking screws and put it together. You want help walk you through the steps. There was a lot of math and geometry involved, but won't bore you with that. All right? Hope you enjoy. Since our life revolves around goats now, we gotta please them and do what they say. So we're building them a little jungle gym thing, A-frame, so they can go inside. But then we're gonna create some ledges so they can jump up and down. So we finally got the angles sort of right. Math. Tried to do math. Didn't work.
So we had a lot of materials already on hand, but what you'll need is a 3/4 inch piece of plywood that's pressure treated, some 1x3s or 1x4s to use to stud out the plywood and create feet and a stable base. And we just reused sections from our fence again, those 1x3 sections that the pickets were attached to, again to stud the back of those sections of the plywood. And we just had that big sheet of plywood cut into 2 3-foot sections, and an extra 2-foot section was to close off the back there. We had some decking screws to use so we can screw everything together, and just some wood glue on hand to put in some of the angle braces to set this top in. So I just screwed those 1x3s to brace the back of the plywood, and now I'm just measuring out to put the footer in. You know, not really cutting the angles, but you know, putting the right size boards as the legs so the boards don't splay out. And that's just screwing it in again to those 1x3s that have studded out. And then we have this 1x6 that's going to go on the top once we put in some brackets that we can screw it down into. And again, just use your decking screws to screw that leg in. You can see I'm screwing it on the outside. This will be the entry that they go to, so this will be the open spot, and it's just getting screwed into those you know, the side studs there. You'll also want to put in a footer on the back end, the same as the front, and this is where you're going to be able to put the large piece of plywood to cover the back and rest it on top of that, and then screw it to those side supports. So here I'm just cutting the back piece that's going to close it off. Basically just take that extra scrap piece of plywood, stick it to the back, and trace that A or that triangle onto that larger piece of plywood, and then just cut it, rip it straight on those angles. You probably are going to have a flat top if you did it the way that I did, but then again, you just screw it in with your decking screws onto the side and you'll be all set. So here I have it up so I can screw down that back piece of plywood we just cut out. You can see the studs there and the leg. I have that plywood resting up against that outer leg brace on the outside and just screwing it in every about 12 inches or so with your decking screws.
This is what it looks like right now. Just need to get a ledge at the top. Don't mind that. So we're going to try to screw in the 1x6 ledge. We think that's a 1x6. I think it's a 1x6 ledge onto the A-frame, but we ran into a little question mark of how do we do that most effectively. In order to do it here, we don't have a pocket hole.
Yeah, pocket hole jig.
So in order to do it, we just had to get a little bit creative. So what we did was we decided to take some of the boards, cut them, get the right angles for them, and then we're going to try to glue them, or
well, we can glue it and then just screw it here and then here, and then we'll put our large beam across and screw that down into here.
yeah, so we're hoping that works.
Yeah, we'll see.
So go ahead and apply some liberal amounts of glue to the area where you're going to put those support angle braces you just cut to put in those little wedges. You know, you'll take your decking screws and then screw down to keep it tight, and this is what your 1x6 will go on top of. So you'll want to cut that top ledge, that 1x6, just to give you a little overhang on the edges, and then take 2 decking screws and screw down onto the tops of those wedges.
This side is gonna go from long to short, and then that one's gonna be more the parkour side.
So here's where you can modify the climbing steps that you want. I just did a pyramid style with my scrap 1x3s, and then I went back and doubled them up so they were wider so the goats can stand on them. So this side is what I call the parkour side. So I have different sized ledges, and some positioned at different angles. Some have like a top ledge on the steps to give the goats a wider place to stand so they don't slip off of. But again, this is the area that you can modify as well. So almost done with the build. Just went back and took my grinder and took off any sharp bits of screws that were sticking through to ensure that they didn't scratch or cut the girls, or when I moved it, I didn't get cut as well.
So we got our parkour side, different ledges they can jump on to get to the top, or they can do the Egyptian, go up the pyramid. Now we just gotta, wait for it to dry out a little bit. Then we'll seal it with, we have some like sand grit texture that we'll put here so they won't slide as much. And then we'll put some non-slip like tape on these parts, then move it out. It is heavy. I will die inside if they don't use it.
I think they will love it.
So I'm gonna seal this enrichment climbing A-frame with some deck sealer, let it dry, and then leave it out to the girls. I already put some anti-slip tape on there. The girls like to move their hooves on, so it helps with that. And with goats, we only have 2 right now, but we're gonna expand the herd. But you want healthy, happy goats. You want to give them stuff to climb on and play on. We have stumps, we have a little ramp here, and we have this little A-frame, and then underneath, a place that they can go and hide. A little spray. We're gonna scrub it down, get some dirt off of there. And a gentle scrub, not too much. Alright, so I have my Thompson's Water Seal Clear, and I have this Valspar Anti-Skip Floor Texture Adhesive Sand, and so I'm going to just add it to my cup here and then just brush it on. You can see some of the little granules already sticking. So I'll just paint the whole side, especially the steps, even over the tape and down the side, and then I will show you what it looks like when it's done as it's drying. All right, the grand reopening. See how the ladies like it. They're inspecting. They're curious about the dog panel that I put in there, but smelling, inspecting like it's brand new. There we go, Midnight. Good job. Yeah, there we go. And they climb, the stretch, and we're on top. So I have the one end closed and the other end open, so they can go in when it's raining or cold. Lucy, let's explore. Lucy's very agile. She can get up and down, no problem. So there it is. They'd love it during the day, especially when we come in at night. We will sit on the top right there, and especially Lucy will try to knock us off and play King of the Mountain. So you want your goats to be happy, get some exercise. They love jumping and climbing. You know, Midnight loves keeping watch. She will stand up here and just watch the pond and watch the cows come by. So again, have some type of enrichment toy. This is an easy climbing tool. Most of it was, again, reused. Wood we've had, the only thing we had to buy is that 3/4 inch plywood, pressure treated. I resealed it just because it did start cracking. And you can see they're playing. Always remember, reuse what you have on your homestead, and saves you money, save you time. So let me know what types of goat enrichment activity play sets you have. I know some people will use kids toys, kids play sets to use, but again, till next time, thanks for sticking around. Make sure you like, subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. Catch you next time.